Sometimes I wonder if I need to stop talking with some of my friends. But then, you know what? That's not true because these conversations lead to some really good commentary on the DCEU, the DCU, the MCU, and all of the other pop culture franchises that I've enjoyed all of my life. In this installment, I wanted to talk about a conversation that I had about the last Black Panther movie, Wakanda Forever. And I'm going to do a longer video talking about some of the issues that I had with the movie. There were a lot of good things in there, but there were also a lot of things that didn't make any sense within the context of the movie. But I'm going to save that for a different video. When I was talking to my friend and I mentioned some of these problems, my friend quickly defended the movie. And in particular, one of the things that I noted was the lack of technology that was used, particularly in the final battle. And what I mean is technology that was introduced in the movie itself. And I had a question of why a certain character did not use technology against the enemy, which was shown in the movie in a very good scene to be effective against the enemy, why that person did not use that technology in the final battle. And my friend's comment to me was, well, maybe the Wakandans didn't have the infrastructure to make more of those weapons. And it's like, again, if you're defending the writing of a movie by downgrading what the Wakandans can do, even though they're supposed to be the most technologically advanced civilization and society on Earth, if not in the MCU, if your defense of the way the story was written was to downgrade them even more than I feel like Marvel itself has done, then that's not a defense. That's a problem. And to be specific, I was talking about Nakia, who you see in a very nice scene where she has this reconfigurable submersible that she can either be in or she can remote control it. And she also has this weapon, this rifle that she takes down the Talokans or Talokans, however you want to pronounce it. I do Talokans. She takes them down with one shot. In fact, in that scene, the surviving Talokan who was guarding Shuri is so disturbed that her friend is dying that she's looking at Namor, who's supposed to be their god, and she's saying to him, "You're our god. Can't you save her?" It was a really nice scene in terms of that because it introduced another element that could have been used against Namor and his people. But when Nakia did not use that rifle in the final battle, something that was proven to take out the Talokans with one shot so that even Namor can't save him, I questioned, well, why didn't she use that weapon in the final battle? And that was my friend's response. Well, maybe the Wakandans didn't have the infrastructure to mass produce that rifle. Just on the surface, it doesn't make any sense because why would you believe that the Wakandans would only make one of those? And why would you believe that they would only make one of those reconfigurable submersibles that can either be piloted, as we saw Nakia do, or can be remote controlled, which is something we've seen in both movies? Why would they only make one of both of those things? In the context of the movie itself, the movie says that that's a nonsense answer because we see Shuri creating the Blue Angel, two of those suits. We see Riri Williams redoing her suit. And then at the end of the movie, we find out that even though their people have been massively displaced, their capital city has been inundated, they probably still have to go and find all the bodies and bury the bodies, as well as relocate the people back to temporary shelters so they can get back into where they dwelled. Even though in the midst of that, basically what is a humanitarian crisis, Shuri still found enough time to send people and resources to get Riri Williams' muscle car, bring it to Wakanda. And then she says in the film that she sourced all the parts that they could not fabricate or do themselves so that the car is pristine, and she presents it to Riri. So the movie itself shows over and over and over again that the Wakandans have the resources, they have the technology to build totally new fighting suits, to rebuild existing suits, to even get a muscle car, bring it in, and if they don't have the parts, they can source the parts so that they can give that car to Riri Williams, even though they're in the middle of rebuilding their capital. So again, the movie itself disproves my friend's argument in defense of the movie on why Nakia did not use a weapon that was proven effective against their enemies. Particularly when you have them trapped and losing on top of their ship and they're about to be defeated. And Nakia never brought out that rifle one time at the end, which was my point. It's like I did not understand. Well, I know why they wrote it like that. I know why they wrote it so that everybody failed. And that, again, that's a topic of another video. You can't defend a movie by downgrading the characters that you're claiming you're defending, by saying the Wakandans didn't have the resources to make more of those rifles or weapons, handheld weapons. That makes no sense when the movie itself shows you that they are resourceful. They are very technologically advanced. It was a lapse of writing, basically. If you saw the movie, you know what I'm talking about. The scene where Nakia goes and rescues Shuri, that's a really badass scene. I really like that scene. And I like the technology because it showed that the Wakandans, the most technologically advanced society on the earth, was able to use their technology to get the job done. One woman warrior went in there, got the job done. Why didn't she or even somebody else not only use that vehicle, either remote control or pilot it, and why didn't she or somebody else use that rifle? Even if they just used the one that we saw in the movie, that would have been enough to cause a lot of those Tolokans to take a dirt nap, or in their case, float face up in the sea the same way they did to the Queen Mother. I don't know. And that's why I said I was just disappointed in the writing. But again, I understand why they did things that way. And again, that's going to be the subject of a different video. I just wanted to come and just talk about this indefensible defense of bad writing in the Wakanda Forever movie.